The question is, if the Earth is flat, could you please explain why everything else within our solar system is not flat?
Well, that's what I asked.
The question I'd ask anybody asking that is, how do you know that those things are spherical?
I didn't say they were spherical. I haven't given them a shape.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if we live on a flat Earth, fine. Can you please explain why all the other stuff is not flat?
All those things that we see in the night sky,
Yes.
are just points of light.
Okay.
Yeah? When you actually zoom in on them with a camera such as this, yeah, with a high zoom, you can actually zoom in on them, which is a bit suspicious because they're supposed to be 2 quadrillion miles away.
Yeah.
With an 83 times zoom, there should be no difference. Yeah. So literally, when you zoom in on these stars and planets, they're not, perfectly circular objects. Yeah, they're actually all unique. I don't know, things. I mean, one looks like watery fire, another one looks like electrical discharge, another one looks like an amoeba, another one looks like wheels within wheels. They're
So then we are in agreement that the Earth is flat, but all the other things are not flat. They have their own different shapes, which you've given. Oh, we don't know.
We don't know.
Okay,
They're just lights.
I see.
As far as we can tell, they're just lights.
Well, how do you know they're lights? What
Because they
led
give out
you? No, I mean, what led you to the 100% belief that they're not an object, but it is light? Like, for instance, if I'm asking as a 7-year-old, if the moon comes up, and I look up at the moon, and if I even zoom into the moon, I can see craters on the moon.
Indeed.
I can't see through the moon.
Indeed.
So that object does not look flat to me.
Well, here's the thing. If it's a body, a spherical body,
Yes.
which is reflecting the sun's light, well, it's not reflecting like any other spherical body, because a spherical body reflecting the sun's light would have a hot spot. No matter how matte the surface is, there'd be a hot spot exactly where the sunlight strikes it directly, and then the light would drop off around the curve. Yeah, we don't see that. We see the moon lit up uniformly over its whole surface. Yeah, it's either not spherical, or it's emitting its own light. And it turns out that the light emitted out from the moon is completely different from that of the sun.
It's separate from the sun.
It's a cooling light. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that, but what shape is it?
Well, again, it looks at least hemispherical.
Define hemispherical. I've never heard that word before.
Half a sphere.
Half a sphere.
Yeah, because we can only see one side.
Okay.
We can only ever see one side. Yeah.
Yes.
Which doesn't make sense because, so many times the Earth has had a huge earthquake, and they say, well, it slowed the Earth's rotation by this much, and I've done that several times. Yeah. So this rotation of the moon is so precisely timed, so that it always faces the same way. Yeah. If the Earth slows down a little bit, then that's going to throw that out.
But what you believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Earth being flat, it doesn't rotate. It's stationary.
It stays stationary.
So all the other things within the solar system, do they move or are they stationary?
They're moving all together.
They're moving around the flat Earth, or underneath the flat Earth, or
There's a firmament, there's a dome, and according to the Old Testament, the stars are in the firmament.
okay.
Yes.
So you have the flat
sun-
Earth, and then you have the dome above the flat Earth.
Yes.
And
Now,
so within that, they all rotate within that dome.
Yes. The stars are supposedly in the firmament.
Okay.
Yeah. And the firmament rotates and the stars rotate with that.
All right.
And there are things we call planets.
Yes.
The word planet means wandering star.
Yeah, I've heard that
Yeah?
from.
So these are the same sort of things as stars, but they're moving on a different trajectory.
Okay, I see.
Apparently close to the Earth, because those wandering stars are also known as the Watcher class angels.
Watchers,
Yeah, the Watchers. So they were close to watch over the Earth.
which is another name for Nephilim.
Exactly. That's why all the planets are named after Nephilim.
The Nephilims are supposed to be beings,
In
though.
Greek.
What, in the book of Enoch you're talking
In Greek.
about? Or-
Sorry? No. They're named after Nephilim because the fallen angels and Nephilim, yeah, they were the heroes and heroes of old.
Well,
Yeah, so why would you then
Not
call
necessarily
planets
heroes.
Nephilims if they're beings, as you've
Hero
described they're
doesn't mean-
beings?
The ancient word
They were
hero
renowned.
doesn't mean the same as it means now.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
So they were the giants and the titans and all that. So the names of them, right, were translated in various different languages. So we use the Greek names, or Greek and Roman names for the planets.
So just to be sure what you're saying, Earth is flat. There's a dome above the flat Earth, and within that dome we have the plethora of stars and the other planets,
Yeah.
which have different shapes. None of them are spherical, different shapes, and they all rotate around the flat Earth, or they just rotate above the flat
in
Earth.
the firmament, yeah.
What does the firmament
Firmament
mean?
is the dome.
The dome.
Above you, anything
Yeah.
above.
Okay, so they're above the Earth, rotating above
Yes,
the Earth.
and inside the dome
Yes.
is the moon and the sun.
The moon and the sun.
They're separate entities. You know, again, the Book of Remembrance says they were created as great luminaries. Okay.
Anytime your spirit transcends, right, and it goes up, yeah,
Sure.
or even down, believe it or not, you're in the atmospheric. You're in a different realm.
Yeah,
even
but
space
I hear
is
that more
outside.
from a religious perspective, though. When I hear that,
Well, I'm not a religious person.
you say that, but a lot of what you say
I
does.
know, but there's a difference, yeah?
Okay.
The Old Testament is a book of history, real history, law, and guidance, yeah, for one particular people. Okay? What's happened is other cultures have come along, put their book on top of our book, okay, and created a religion around it. We don't belong to a religion, we belong to a way of life.
Okay.
That's what the Old Testament describes, a way of life.
All right. Finally, to believe the Earth is flat, can you explain then why doesn't water come off the edges? Is something holding the water in?
If you look at the model of the flat Earth, imagine a dinner plate.
Yes.
Okay, and the North Pole's in the middle. The continents are strung out round the North Pole.
All right.
And around the edge is what we call Antarctica.
Okay.
It's a 200-foot ice wall,
right.
followed by 300 miles of plain, yeah, followed by 2-mile-high mountains, the Rockefeller Mountains, which I believe. Yeah. So that's what's keeping the water in. Yeah.
All right. Can we ever travel to those mountains?
No, because if you try, you get turned away by the military.
Can I ask you a
Oh.
question based on that? Do you think there's anything over the mountain?
Well, I believe, going by what Admiral Byrd said, and this map that was in a newspaper 100 years ago, apparently it's a 1,000-year-old map. There are more continents beyond the ice.
Right.
And Admiral Byrd said that he found a continent the size of the continental US that's uninhabited on the other side of their base. So
But it hasn't been proven yet. though.
Because
that's what he said. But there's video, there's actual footage of them, going across Antarctica and finding warm water lakes.
Admiral Byrd, footage of him.
Yes.
We're going way back to the
50s.
There's footage of that.
Yes.
Okay, I'll
Find
look.
it.
I'll go looking for it.
So
Admiral
there's
Byrd.
warm water lakes, and they're walking around in t-shirts and stuff. Yes.
Wow.
Have you guys got a leaflet or anything like that?
A what?
Leaflet? Any leaflets?
The leaflets are handing out. Can I put one of the leaflets here now?
Nice one. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah. Thanks
Said it by you.
very much for your information. It's been very
welcome.
helpful. Thank you. Goodbye.